But we'll get into that in a moment. LS, how you been doing, man? Are you already excited by what's happened here in the draft?
Oh, I'm extremely excited. We got Electric Bear and we got B1 Renekton coming out by JDG. And what an opening to come back to. It's been 4 years since I've been back at Worlds.
And actually, I think I was casting with you.
Yes.
2017 over in LA. That was a great time. And now we get to do it again, finally, reunited here on this desk. But let's just catch you back up real quick, guys. It is going to be the Aurelia, Akali, and Shen bans. Don't like ninjas very much. Onto the side of JDG, and that's going to be answered by the TF, the Lucian, and the Camille being taken off the board. Camille makes a lot of sense. Zoom is an absolute beast. And the Lilia is going to be locked in. And I was going to say that for a Worlds broadcast, for the very first game, if that was a Graves lock-in, I'd be worried. But thankfully, we've saved it with the Lilia.
Lilia is going to be here, so this is going to mean it's going to be the Volibear in top lane with the Nidalee, and so that's going to be an interesting dynamic against the Renekton and the Lilia. Zoe coming in blind. Larson was hovering Echo for a little bit, but now they're going to pivot over to Ashe. And I feel like if Rogue are going to stand a chance in today's matchup, Inspired's going to have a better performance than he did earlier on, and Larson is going to need to show up big for Rogue here today.
I think it's really, really scary, especially considering what he's looking at over the other side of the Rift. Kanavi does almost the most damage on his team, even in just the games that we've seen here at Worlds, but we've seen it be even more prevalent over in the LPL, and he's back on Lilia again, a champion that he has been able to do a fair bit of work with already. So the Ashe locked in. We're going to save that mid pick for Larson for a little bit later. Looking to the bans here, and I do want to talk about that sort of mid-jungle discussion that's been very, very talked about all Worlds long. And we do have that double AP mid-jungle coming out of JDG, so we'll see whether it is just going to be a bit more topside focused, trying to set up for the Lilia.
Yeah, well, we see the Syndra is being banned away, so they're giving some credit over to Larson. And we'll see if Rogue wants to continue to actually pinch away Marksman down there in the bottom lane to get a better matchup for Hansama on the Ashe. And I'm very curious to see how Finn is going to perform here against Zoom today, as I feel like that could also be a pretty big indicator of how Rogue will fare later on in their group stage matches.
That's real rough, though, because Zoom is an extraordinarily talented top laner and has proved it time and time again. Unfortunately, not able to against Noggery, but we saw the things that he's been capable of, and I think that they're Damwon's a bit of a weird team. They just seem to be doing too much winning as Hansama hovering the Brad for Vander, but no, Set is going to be a consideration here.
Ooh, Alistar.
I feel like Alistar blind is so dangerous into an LPL team, but it is going to be the Azir taken away. So Emperor of Shurima for Larson, setting up for a bit more of a team fight based composition here with Poke mixed in with the Ashe and the Nidalee.
And the Azir worries me a little bit because even though it's going to be a very good champion for Larson, this is suggesting Rogue are going to try to go the distance against JDG. And that is definitely some moxie coming out of them here inside of the draft phase. Caitlyn Lux now.
Oh, God.
Going to be the hover for JDG.
And that's a complete opposite of what you were talking about. You're talking about going the distance. Let's scale it up, guys. No rush 20. Let's see what we can do with some late game team fights. And JDG, they want to go home before then. Yeah. That's their plan. As the Caitlyn and the Bard are going to be locked in. We get Lumau's Bard on our first Worlds broadcast. Thank you very much, JDG. That feels like a fantastic thank you present. That's just absolutely brilliant. Looking forward to it. It's Vander, an old favorite here in the Blitzcrank. And this is going to be an interesting lane, one could say. This is going to be very interesting with the Blitzcrank because that's the curveball that is going to have a lot of potency throughout the entirety of this game. Even in the late game standoffs, if it reaches that point, Blitzcrank is always a curveball that can always just turn something on a dime. And Rogue, they definitely have a lot of scaling in their team composition. The scary thing is the Caitlyn on the enemy team if she ends up going the distance. And so JDG, they just have so much autonomy early on with this draft setup that I'm really curious to see how Rogue's going to try to juggle it, because even super late game, I don't think favors Rogue. Yeah, I think it's actually really scary because like you were saying, it doesn't necessarily favor them because Caitlyn scales extraordinarily well, and Lilia is probably one of the best scaling junglers in the game. And so there's a Renekton there, and we all know how we feel about Renekton. However, it doesn't matter. He's actually used as a legitimate bridge in this game because he's just pumping up Kanavi. He's just trying to get him as much gold as possible, and we'll see whether that is going to be what happens. Rogue, I don't mind the team comp as far as their engage options. You know, they've got Ash Arrows, they've got Rocket Grabs like you were talking about. They do have ways to get things going on, but you mix the Zoe in, and remember, guys, this is Yagao on the Zoe. He didn't lose on this champion during the summer regular season. He was on a 16 KDA or something like that. Also played a bunch of games of the champion in the playoffs. Haven't seen too much of her so far here at Worlds, but looking forward to seeing what Yagao can do because we know what a powerhouse he can be on his day. Yeah,
and I just feel like Atlas, today is the day. Last night, I slept great. Renekton, winless at Worlds. But today...
Well, we have to remember, you're saying winless at Worlds. That's not entirely true because play-ins exist.
True,
and Longxing is... He demonstrated that sometimes Renekton analysis doesn't matter because Chinese Renekton is more like Godzilla. Yes, we know that Godzilla originated in Japan, but I think the Chinese remake is coming out a little bit better here at Worlds, especially when you look at those play-ins. That was really part of the turnaround for LGD as well. So, yeah, looking forward to seeing what it can do in the hands of Zoom, especially when he's got Kanavi there to beef up on the way.
And this is such an important match for Rogue because this is pretty much the team for them to beat if they want to advance out of this group because Damwon is looking untouchable. It does not seem like anyone is going to contest them for first inside of the group. So this is really, really important for Rogue here.
And this is also one of those groups that you look at, and it could just be the three-way ties on 2-4. You know, this is one of those groups where, with Damwon being so incredibly impressive, if they just go 6-0, then that second spot is definitely very up for grabs. And a lot of people have already said that Rogue did make Damwon work for it, maybe a little bit more than JDG did. I think, you know, maybe PSG almost did a better job than JDG as well. So this is going to tell us a lot. And here we are onto the Rift for game number 4 of the day. JDG starting off on blue. And of course, Rogue here on the red side. Pegging some spears. Inspired just needs to add a little bit more oomph to that one. As Kanavi's going to go back. It is going to be the Dark Harvest on the Lilia this time around. Yagao opting for a spellbook that isn't very well sealed. And not too many other surprises. Conqueror on Renekton as opposed to the press the attack. Maybe just wanting to brawl up against the Electric Bear a little bit more. And what do you feel about this matchup, LS? The old Electric Bear into the Crocodile.
So Electric Bear versus Renekton is Volibear favored in isolation, but we'll see how Finn manages to pilot it here in the openings of this laning phase. And like you said, gonna be the Conqueror on the Renekton. We saw how Finn performed against Nuggery, and now the real test is going to be a matchup that his champion's favored in what should probably be a pretty isolated top lane, at least early on.
Yeah, and I feel like the top lane does favor Rogue early on because of the added presence that you have with Anildi. So we'll see whether Inspired, like you were talking about, we're expecting a lot out of Inspired this game. And we're hoping that he can sort of upgrade the performance from previous games here at Worlds. So far, just Blast Coning his way around. It's going to be blue towards top side. We'll see whether he heads into the enemy jungle to try and ruin Kanavi's time there, who's already a camp in the lead.
And Inspired just doing a very safe opening route here with the blue into red. You can see that on the flip side, Kanavi, he knows that all of his laners...
Oh, the cheekiest
of
sidesteps.
Nice sidestep right there. And Kanavi's just going to go for the full clear. He knows that all of his laners are able to do everything on their own. There's no real danger for them, early on at least. Finn's going to come down here.
Yep, the Bear's going to find the deer. Slaps her there just a little bit, but these Qs starting to hurt a little bit. As Kanavi chases the Bear out of her jungle. Not something you'd expect in the Animal Kingdom, but here on Summoner's Rift, things are different. Gonna have to start that one up again though, so all the time that Finn can buy for Inspired is good.
Yeah. And that was a nice utilization of pushing that second wave in and getting a lot of intel for his team, because now Nidalee has confirmation. Okay, Lilia's full cleared. Azir has priority in mid lane. This should mean Inspired gets left side Scuttle Crab. and then we'll have to see what happens bot lane to tell if Inspired can maybe actually just double crab Kanavi.
Ooh.
And sometimes this is an opening that takes place. You end up getting full cleared against, but then you gain control of both the crabs. Now Kanavi is rushing, most likely, to that right side crab.
Going to be taking his puppies first. As we're going to see Finn with a slight push and health lead up here towards the top side. Inspired will finish this one off. So the jungle is converging now on the Rift Scuttler on the bottom side. You can see Yagao actually teleporting back is a big deal. Larsen's completely and this will mean that Kanavi can have priority on the bottom scuttle.
And so this is a pretty big win for JDG, even though not a whole lot has happened yet. JDG were able to get the priority in bottom lane. The teleport came in from Yagao early on. Larsen completely doesn't have any ability to help out Nidalee. And so now Inspired, his Gromp's level 1, his Wolves are level 1, and Kanavi just gets the better end of the opening jungle.
Yeah, and I think that's we've heard this so many times, especially last night. Thank you very much, Kobe. The jungling is a team game, and this was another perfect example of that. As the bottom lane moves up, just demonstrating what priority does give you as far as your jungling prowess. So yeah, back here in this mid lane, he's picked up a ghost. So many different summoner spells for this guy, and we'll just see what kind of a Zoe he is, because us here in the LCK, we like to define a Zoe player by the amount of redemptions they get and the earliest that they get them. And so far, level 5, Yagao a step below some of our Zoes, but otherwise is performing very well.
And now we're just going to have a little bit of vision shenanigans going on here. Lumao is coming into mid lane looking for something, but he is sitting on top of a ward.
And a trap.
Yeah.
It's going to give everything away there. As Yagao just clears out the minion wave, drinks himself a cup of cocoa, of course. Lumao is an absolute savant when it comes to playing the Bard, and picks the correct skin. And you just need the hot cocoa, man. It is my all-time favorite. I know that the astronaut skin is really cool, but I don't really mind. I just need that hot cocoa in my life.
And it looks like Kanavi is actually going to skip eating his wolf camp. That would have put him 2 camps up. He's going to make his way to top lane, and now they know that Nidalee must be on the right-hand side.
Zoom with a bit of a struggle here, but does pop the Dominus. There's the ulti, takes a big chunk of damage there as Kanavi makes his way forward. And the Renekton is going to be absolutely fine. Thankfully, the Empowered Q helping him out there. Finn not looking too meek in this matchup, but did still have to flash to get out to safety.
And the thing about this is that he misses the cannon wave, which is super big to just have that bounce into the turret, especially because now Zoom escorted the next wave into the turret, and so this means that the next couple of waves bounce back into Renekton, which, with Inspired having just recently cleared his left side camps, is a little bit uncomfortable because it means you know the Nidalee is not going to be making her way up to top lane in order to help you out. And now you're in an isolated matchup against the Renekton. Like that he went the Bramble Vest, like that he has the cloth armor as well. So he should be somewhat okay, and Kanavi is returning to just power farming up his jungle.
Oh, this is so cheap. Look at the little takeaway Cocos that are being left around by Lumao to make sure that Kanavi can stay as topped up as possible in this jungle as well. I think that's super cute. Just some of the cool things that you can do with Brad, and of course you'd expect it out of Lumao as well, because he is the premier Bard player. Got a lot of Bard players actually around us at the moment. Of course, Widid is currently casting the Korean Broadcast of Worlds. He's another one of those Bard enthusiasts.
And we'll see how the Bard manages to do in the later stages of the game. We saw Mickey X have one of the best performances probably ever on the champion earlier on in this tournament. Kanavi, now he is level 6. He's also very healthy right now.
Larsen just ulting the wave, because sometimes you need to sweep away the minions. Teach them a lesson with your Sand Soldiers. And Yagao's going to pick up that wave pretty comfortably. Misses one, but shouldn't miss another. So no worries there at all. It's been a very quiet early game. And this feels, it's so funny because we're watching EU versus China, right? And so you'd expect that it's going to be more speedy on the China side. However, it's Rogue that are known more for early aggression than JDG, because JDG are sort of the LCK team of old of the LPL, or at least were in spring, towards the end of spring anyway.
I love what's happening right now inside of the jungle. They have the vision on Inspired. They know that he's resetting. And the bounce back on top wave is lining up with Kanavi's reset and pathing towards the left-hand side. So they have multiple options. Renekton playing center lane right now. They're starting the Rift Herald. They know that Nidalee is going to be late to this, and we'll see what the response is going to be. Out of Rogue, it seems like they're going to rotate for it,
yeah,
but it's going to be too late. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not the response. Try and take something elsewhere because it looks like this isn't necessarily going to work. Arrow just going to be avoided by Lumao as Kanavi's spinning around. They don't necessarily have a massive amount of damage, but they will be able to take this one down. Great rocket grab from Vander as Kanavi's going to have to flash to get himself out of the way, but multiple sleeps. That's a big battle star as well. And a sleepy Bear here does find the brush, however. Zoom trying to dash around, and here's the Chinese Renekton we've been looking for. First blood comes down, and he's not done yet. Finn's going to turn up, but maybe you don't want to be here, buddy, as Hans Sama comes through from the top side. The Crocodile eventually falls down, as now it's Larsen's turn to try and chase this one down. And damn, it was going slowly before, but that was some exciting stuff.
And one of the things to mention while all this chaos is unfolding around the Rift Herald, hold on, it's not done yet.
Okay, he does manage to land the paddle star, but is he going to be able to keep himself alive? As okay, Bubble not going to connect. Shorts a little bit there as the Hawk shot does come in. Lumao scooped up and handed over to Hans Sama. JDG, what was that?
I'm not totally sure what JDG are doing right there, but Loken was down in bottom, getting all the free waves, getting free turret plates this entire time. He got 2 turret plates in 2 waves, which has to be remembered while all of this is unfolding, because Caitlyn's getting a lot of value that Ashe wasn't getting here. So, Sleep goes out, didn't quite get Lilia. Vander flashes the wall, Godzilla chases after, gets the Nidalee, and I thought right here, okay, Zoom's gonna take the blast cone, he's gonna exit the fight, they already got the win, and Caitlyn is just, she's in heaven down in bot lane.
Yeah. And I mean, this is very similar to the play from Gen G we saw yesterday, right? Where they're fighting 4v5 for a Rift Herald, and yes, they lose a death, but in the meantime, you've got Ruler hoovering up the minions. The only difference is that JDG just kept going in. And unfortunately, that didn't work out for them, as they did lose out on that fight just a little bit further. But as you can see, teleport here towards the bottom side, and JDG just doing Caitlyn things here. Smashing down turrets, perfect timing there on the Rift Herald to make sure that those plates are gobbled up. And Zoom also going to be a benefactor of that one, as Loken gets that 410 gold. And so the early game working out very well outside of that Rift Herald issue.
And the really scary thing is the Caitlyn. Once she starts moving around the map, she's the one that Rogue's team composition outside of an Enchanted Crystal Arrow or Blitzcrank Pole, they have no real way to get her. And so that's going to be very difficult, because Azir does not want to run head first into Bard or Lilia or Renekton that just point and click stuns him if he tries to go for a Shurima Shuffle. So things are looking very rough right now for Rogue.
But another decent rocket grab. Zoom's going to call that a gap close. As the stun comes down, Vander in a little bit of trouble. That's a fantastic Cosmic Binding, but the Emperor's Divide not going to be enough, and now Larsen caught out with a Tempered Fade. He's underneath the turret, but this is JDG. I don't know whether that's going to be safety. As the arrow comes down from Hans Sama, it looks like the pincer move is on, as Lumao going to flash himself to try and get out of the way, as he does pick up the kill onto the Bear. 1-for-1 so far in this small skirmish, but Lumao in between 2 turrets because that out hasn't been taken yet. And now Zoom and Yagao trying to get their way out of here. Good sidestep. Don't know how Yagao knew that. It's just a great reaction time there as the... Okay, Zoom underneath the turret trying to get the execution, and he does so. The teleport out from Yagao works out for him also.
Yeah, and meanwhile, Loken yet again.
He's playing a different game. He's playing like this...
He's playing Farmville.
Yeah, exactly. He's Farmville in the mid lane, in the bottom lane. I don't know. Is there like a demolition game that you can play? Because that's what he's doing.
That is indeed what he's doing. He's getting so big on his own. Even though Hans Sama has 4 kills, Loken has been doing so much. He's level 9 right now. He's gotten so much solo EXP, so much farm, and so many turret plates inside of him right now. So this Caitlyn's going to be very scary, even though she hasn't entered any of the action yet. So 2,500 gold lead right now for LGG, or JDG. And Zoom, you can see he goes in here, Paddlestar doesn't end up quite connecting, and there's something about Renekton, man. Every time he gets a kill, he gets knocked up.
Yeah.
He's on a roller coaster. Larssen flashed out of the way. They didn't quite have the damage to bring down Larssen there, and then everyone converged in. Finn flashed forward, but didn't actually go through.
I mean, it was actually a pretty decently executed pincer move, to be honest, because they're really, really hard to make work. And Finn might have been a little bit early, but they were still able to feed more kills into Hans Sama. Hans Sama's now 4-0, has got all of the kills on his team. Yes, they're 3,000 gold behind, well, close to. And Loken has the most money, but Hans Sama's pretty close. 0-0-0 has more money than 4-0-0, by the way.
Yeah.
It's just League of Legends things, I guess.
Power plates.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, JDG, I mean, they're sitting very comfortable. They have the first Ocean Dragon. Infernal is coming up next. You can also see Lilia. She already has the Haunting guy. Is going to start moving towards that Leandris.
Going to get there pretty soon as well. But you can see Inspired actually farming very nicely this game. See where he goes to as far as item build. We did see the Rod of Ages come through earlier in the day. This might not be a game for it, as Inspired does have the Amp Tome in his back pocket. And so looking like a little bit more of the supportive Nidalee this game.
And right now, there's not a whole lot to really fight over. You can see Inspired, he was looking for something by shadowing Larssen, but a little too optimistic. Now, Roger trying to invade, it seems, the blue side jungle. Zoom already crashed the wave into bottom, and Finn, I mean, he's running around at level 9 with 91 CS, and he's really living up to the Build-A-Bear workshop.
Yeah.
With his inventory.
That's a lot of different items. Yep, it's just a lot of blue, some brown, and some gray. But we're not really completing anything at this particular point in time. It's a fair bit of armor that he has against Zoom, so that's decent. Rainbow Vest is a brilliant choice. But it's odd. We have seen a few of these Iceborne Gauntlet volley bears. It's not going to be more of that aggressive Trinity Force style, and I don't mind that out of Rogue as well. As we've got the second Rift Herald, Shirley, going to be taken down. As Rogue knows exactly what's going on, but they've got a bear on the bottom side. So it's probably not going to be any sort of contest. As Van is just walking around trying to keep everyone concerned about this rocket grab.
And even a little bit of good RNG for JDG as the Scuttle Crab,
Tempted Faye. He's not going to save the turret, though, which he could have tried to do. As Zoom flashes on forward, Vander lands the rocket grab. There's a lot of CC now onto the Crocodile, but it doesn't matter. It's just a dead Blitzcrank, and now Kanavi's flashing forward. Watch out, indeed, as Hans Sama's going to be taken down as well. And now JDG are going to push towards this outer turret in the mid lane and continue that great work that they're doing. Have Shirley there to join them at the same time. Everything's coming up JDG.
Well, Rogue with the TSM Classic grouping in mid for just an isolated turret would have only given 113 gold to each champion that was in proximity, which you're not going to win or lose the game over. But in doing so, they're overextended against a Bard, and JDG, they tell him to straighten up really quick.
Oh man, that's going to be outer turret in mid lane, a second charge into the inner turret in mid as well. Straight into a Dragon after getting the Rift Herald. And yes, there was a bit of damage done to the outer turret in the mid lane, but that is all that Rogue can really say about this particular fight. So such an early flash from Zoom, it just straight up didn't matter. He just soaked everything. And then it's all about JDG.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a very easy collapse by JDG. They say thank you. They almost have a 4,000 gold lead right now in this game, and things are only going to get worse. It's a Mountain Dragon that's coming up for them. And these champions that JDG have outside of Renekton, normally they don't get a whole lot of tankiness. So being that much harder to kill is going to make it that much more difficult for Nidalee and Volibear to conduct themselves in the team fight. Volibear building pure tank, I mean, he's not going to do anything. It's just going to be a utility bot.
Yeah. And I don't know whether building damage would have been a better idea. It feels a little bit stuck between a rock and a hard place here for Finn as far as that build is concerned. Because he does need to survive as well. You know, Volibear's got a fair bit of staying power in these fights and can be a nuisance. But you're right, it is. This is just a part of the game where JDG are very strong. A lot of it has to do with Yagao, especially now that the map has been opened up so far. We have to go back to our Zoe playbook and be like, well, there's not a lot of vision options for Rogue, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Inspired is able to at least still lock down blue buff, still have some control of his jungle. But when things start to get dark, that's when Zoe really starts to shine. And Yagao is a fantastic Zoe player. We remember from MSC.
Yeah.
That was where we suffered the wrath of his particular Zoe.
Yagao up here currently in top lane, looking to get the tier 1 turret. The game's going to enter into what we assume to be a little bit of a lull state. Everyone's just going to continue to farm up into their items. Rapid fire cannon on the Caitlyn so that she's able to be that much safer. Finn's coming down here, though.
Yeah, Empress Divide's going to pull back Zoom. Dominus is going to be popped here as he uses the Culminate to try and get some health back. The ulti through from Finn. He doesn't do a lot of damage, but finally Inspired comes down with the kill onto the Crocodile. Didn't think that Cats versus Crocodiles was going to work out like that, but Rogue are going to transition also into a red buff. So chaining a few of these kills and steals into one another. Arrow also going to land as Vander flashes with the grab. And you ain't getting out of that one, Lumao, especially not with the ulti from the Blitzcrank. Very nicely done from Rogue, who do manage to get themselves a kill lead, even if it's not a gold lead yet.
Yeah, and I mean, these are the things that Rogue needs if they want to come back into the game. They're going to need Miracle Blitzcrank pulls. They're going to need pickoffs on stray members of JDG prior to objectives coming up. And they need this to keep happening if they're going to have any hope as the game does draw on. The Mountain Dragon fight, I think Rogue is going to be forced to just concede it. They might end up trying to take it, but it's going to be really hard for them to get position. And it's going to come down to Vander to land some sort of a pull. But with Bard there, Bard can just stifle it really hard, even if Vander would land a Marigold grab.
Well, we'll see exactly how Lumao is going to play that one out. You'd expect that JDG are going to be there immediately, but that's still a minute and a half's time. So, still some options here for JDG as far as what they want to do next. You've got to push out of the top wave here for Finn, who's now going for a reset. But Zoom is nowhere in sight, so it's just JDG walking around as a 4-man squad, seeing what they can get done. 2,000 gold is the lead, though, and Rogue pushing back a little bit there with that last little skirmish. And Vander goes on over with the rocket grab, actually finds the Caitlyn somehow. Loken uses everything, manages to escape as now Zoom. He's come forward yet again, does have the flash available very, very soon, but it's not here just yet as the Drowsy comes through onto the Blitzcrank. Unfortunately, going to be taken down there by a well-placed paddle star from Yagao, and it was so close to being so good, but unfortunately not quite able to secure the kill onto Loken.
And that's just going to be JDG getting complete control now over the blue side jungle of Rogue. And this is going to be very scary for Rogue to try to crack into the river.
We were talking about vision control and playing around. Zoe's also playing around the Lilia as well. I mean, she throws a bowling ball and then you could be asleep as well. I mean, this is a very, you know, it's not exactly an insomnia composition, as everyone's just able to sleep. It's no worries there at all. As Rogue do need to be very, very careful about which brushes they're going to be face checking. As Yagao comes through, gets a Drowsy somehow. How the heck did that work? You got Sleeps laid upon Sleeps, as that's going to be a gap close from Vander. As there's a flash forward, the slice, the dice Finn going to be taken down. It's a double kill before the Crocodile falls. The flash forward from Lumao, but the flash in response there from Impaired as Lumao, that was very cute, manages to get out of his own magical journey. Seemed to have done something very strange. As now Loken, he's got his eyes on the prize. He wants objectives and objectives only, and he's walking immediately to this Mountain Drake. It's gonna be prancing around. A very happy Bambi in the jungle here.
And JDG, they're gonna pick this one up for free. And that's gonna bring them to Soul Point, Atlas, for a Mountain Soul, which is gonna be pretty impossible for Rogue's team composition to beat in a straight-up team fight.
Yeah.
And so this is really match point at this moment.
The thing that's really scary is that they couldn't kill Loken in that moment, right? Where it was this amazing hook onto a Caitlyn that I don't even know whether Vander knew was there, but he still managed to grab the hook. As we're gonna have a look at Zoom and this extraordinary play. Has an extra dash because of the rocket grab. As, oh, just beautiful stuff out of the top laner from JDG.
Now they're going to go back to farming. 4.5 minutes is the ticking time bomb that now exists. That Rogue, they have to find some sort of an answer to it, and love the Void Staff out of the Zoe second. Boris is crying somewhere right now, that's for damn sure, as there is quite a bit of magic resist on the side of Rogue. Caitlyn continuing on into powering her AD stat up.
Yep, gonna go for the Storm Razor as the third item. It's not exactly gonna make Freak happy, but it will still get to the same 3 items in the mid game anyway. As you've got Hansama for the biggest 3-item power spike on the Ashe that you can get to with the Essence Reaver. Yeah. And the Runar's Hurricane, he'll have the IE coming through pretty soon as there's the sleep. But it's a bait out of Rogue. I love this. Kanavi gonna flash out of the way. The Tempered Fate is just extraordinary out of Lumau's. Yugao, I don't know how he threaded that needle, but he did. And now it's a dead Hansama. The spear is gonna go wide and Bandit's stuck against the wall. There's a blast cone, but it's gonna be taken by Kanavi after the watch out Eepers. Oh no, we're going to sleep yet again, and the Caitlyn with that ace in the hole is going to be able to take down Inspired. And now Finn, he's ulting to get himself out of the way, and that might just be a sign of more things to come here for Rogue, as you can see JDG with their eyes on the Baron.
Oh man, I am really looking forward to that replay. JDG, they're going to get this Baron. This Baron will persist into just before the Mountain Drake basically spawns Rogue.
Lawson.
This is disastrous.
Well, Empress Divide onto 3, but he falls asleep afterwards. It made him tired, and now he's trying to run away. Finn gonna be the first target. He'll be taken down as Zoom grabs that kill. And now Larson, he's gonna get flashed on here by Yugao, who's picked up a couple of them. The Trouble Bubble not going to land, but there's the flash forward of the Paddle Star. Will do it after traveling all that way. My God, this guy Zoe is just disgusting.
JDG are really putting on a clinic here as the game continues to unfold. Now, the Baron was stopped, so that's the upside. And right here, take a look at what Lumau says. He says Lumau to Vander's pull.
This setup was so cool too. Oh man.
Yugao with the Paddle Star. Electric Bear tries to come in. Magical Journey. Vander's not really having a very good time against Brad.
Oh man. This Bambi does not like trampolines, I'm telling you that much. But still, didn't really matter that Kanavi fell down. Oh man, Zoom just really took hold of this early game, carried it through, and now the rest of JDG are coming alive to make up for it. 6,000 gold is now the lead. 1.5 minutes on that Mountain Soul for JDG. They are looking like the team we were expecting coming into Worlds. I think that their game against Damwon, that could have been closer. They did give Damwon exactly what they wanted in a lot of instances. I think the second matchup between the two is going to be different. This is what we expected out of JDG, is that is going to be a very sleepy tower. Only a Sun Disc, as we've got drowsiness just everywhere.
I mean, we have the Sleep Sisters.
Yeah, exactly.
Lilia and Zoe, and their poke is quite obnoxious to try to juggle and deal with, especially in closed corridors. So, Rogue, they're between a rock and a hard place right now. As that dragon, 45 seconds until it's going to come up.
Yeah, 3-item spike now done for Loken as well. 206 on this. Caitlyn has just been quietly sitting back and auto-attacking people. I was so jealous, actually, when JDG got Loken. I was looking at Loken for a possible AD carry that we could have had here in the LCK. Of course, he is Korean. But such a great pickup. He is a very, very stable AD carry. Certainly showed a lot of really good stuff elsewhere before joining JDG, but has fit in so well onto this roster alongside Kanavi, the other Korean on this team. As Rogue looking for some sort of trade opportunity. That's their way of trying to deny this soul, as they do have some vision control here towards the Baron area, but now they're getting corralled. Lumau flashing forward, doesn't get the stun as in goes Zoom, just trying to choose his targets. Only half health now as in goes Finn. It says that he's unstoppable, but you stop him by killing him, and that's exactly what JDG will do. Emperor's Divide is dividing absolutely nothing, and JDG say, all right, well, I guess we won't get the Dragon Soul. We'll take the Baron instead.
They're gonna get the Baron, and then immediately after this, you know they're just gonna run over to the Soul. Baron is just the closest one
yeah,
to
them. Get what's in front of you.
In the Rogue graveyard that is left side river right now. And you can see Larson, I mean, he's trying to go over there with Vander. They're hoping to maybe make a pick in the event that JDG would just send one member to get the Dragon.
Well, Vander's definitely dead. The Aftershock wears off, and probably didn't even really matter there as the drowsiness continues. That's an ultimate used, so a bit of respect given over to Larson there, but that's the ace. So 11,000 gold now the lead. You've got Mountain Soul, you've got Baron buff. I don't think JDG could really get anything more at this particular point in time.
This game really just busted wide open yet again, and take a look at the flank by Zoom here. He gets right into the heart of the fight. Caitlyn, no one can stop her. No one can touch her. She's getting free deal the entire time. And JDG are just way too strong at this point, and Rogue are completely uncoordinated. In that fight, there was nothing realistically that they could do.
Well, they were panicking, right? Yeah. I mean, this is 5 people that are just caught in the river with absolutely nowhere that they could go. And the Crocodile was coming down from the top side. This is the late game scaling version of Renekton, by the way. Seems to just be able to get to exactly where he wants to be and take down the priority targets. They make them different in the LPL when it comes to Renekton. Just beautiful to see. And it's just a coming together of this draft that has looked really, really nice, because sometimes you think that maybe there's not enough scaling options, maybe you're not going to be able to get things done, but this is one of those comps that bridges just so nicely while still retaining relevance for a lot of these other units, as the arrow isn't going to find the Lilia, and Inspired goes to sleep. Yagao says, all right, stay asleep, my friend, as the Nidalee's taken down. That's going to spell the inhibitor turret as well, as another sleep comes forward. Larson flashes to try and get as much distance. Is it enough as the Tempered Fate will catch him out, and JDG going to close the gap. Lilia will pick up that kill. And now JDG probably just going to say goodnight to this particular game and take it all the way up this mid lane. Not a lot of summoner spells remaining, but there's also not a lot of towers left remaining on Rogue's side. As Finn doesn't have an ultimate, they don't really have too much hope at all, as JDG will answer us and say that they may yet be able to get to the top of this group.
And what a fantastic performance by JDG here against Rogue. As soon as the mid game hit, it just became very one-sided, complete destruction with the way that they team fought and did everything, and even the early game as well. The transition, their team fighting very, very clean. Loken just getting to play basically by himself as well.
It was absolutely amazing. I absolutely love watching how this team plays around where their power is allocated, right? Yeah. It felt like that early game, it was all about Zoom. He's the Renekton, he's the early game powerhouse, let's play around him. They did that, they grouped, they picked up Heralds, but after that, it was just objective after objective. They knew exactly where to be. And yes, Zoom was like absolutely huge, but Lumao is just so damn good on Bard. Oh, amazing. And then, you know, in the meantime, Loken's just hoovering up every single structure on the map.
Well,
I don't know, man. It's going to be a very exciting rematch between Damwon and JDG. Both of the I don't think JDG got enough out in their first match. It felt like draft certainly suited Damwon very, very much. But the second time around, I think the Camille and TF might be banned.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be interesting to see how they are when they collide again, because that'll also give us a much better idea of Damwon as well. It'll sort of probably reinforce something, though.
Yeah, that's exactly right. But we're stepping away. Shox and friends will look closer at JDG's win in just a few minutes, so do not go anywhere.